I'm trying to make a video about the haywire brain, and my phone has absolutely lost it. So hopefully this is going to be better. I've had issues making videos in the past. Don't mind Santa in the background. I'm only 5. So hello and welcome. It's been a while since I've made a video. I have been babying myself, taking care of myself, doing a whole lot of qigong, yoga, and miles of walking, and a whole lot of observations have come to me over the last several weeks. As most of us know, or I think most of us know, that our brain has a reptilian component if it's all not reptilian. So the way that we're used to thinking is definitely having a challenge at the moment, and it's been having a challenge for quite a while. Um, though we've kind of been dancing all over being outside the box for a very long time, and most of us many years. Um, right now, there's only what I can only describe as a brain reset that is happening right now. It feels discombobulating, it feels disjointing, it feels fractured, it feels all over the place. And if you pay attention, if you're listening and really watching and really paying attention to what's going on around you, you will notice that other people are experiencing this and not just you. It comes about in different ways for different people at different times, but the brain rewiring right now is giving everyone a bit of a challenge in not just normal day-to-day activities. You're probably noticing being erratic in their driving, or having a conversation with what I can only describe as like dealing with a split personality. The thing is that everyone is going through this. Now, not everyone may be willing to talk about it. Not everyone may be willing to even admit to it. But in my last 3 weeks of silence, without engaging in video making or social media or anything like that, the energy is high, it's extremely powerful, it's potent in an incredibly magical way that just keeps growing in intensity with every day. So it feels like it's disjointing or discombobulating, but really it's going back to its organic way of functioning. It's hard sometimes to explain in terminology, biology, or some of the things that I'm seeing or hearing or experiencing. So I always use the words as best I can to describe what I'm actually noticing. So the brain has been wired for a really long time to work in a certain way, to function in a certain way. As you know, for the last several years, we've been experiencing a different way of having the brain work. Now, a part of that is our telepathy or our clairsentience. All of those things have wiring of the brain. And even if you were born someone that was psychic or intuitive, you will have noticed a vast increase of what you are now able to pick up on, hear, see, feel, discern, all of those things. So the changes are very vastly different from even the math, even though I'm not sure I'm exactly comfortable doing that. I don't know any other way to kind of beat around the bush and explain to you what I'm experiencing without making it personal. So I'm just going to make it personal. And if you're someone I'm talking about, maybe you're not watching, or maybe you're okay with it, or maybe you can forgive me, or maybe you won't even notice that I'm talking about you. So here goes it, right? The brain is in the middle of a reset. This is happening for everyone, depending on what level you were, let's say before the reset, where you will be right now, what level you will be experiencing. I've been talking briefly through just reels and short videos about the soul to soul connections and what we're experiencing within those soul to soul connections at this time. Anytime ability amps up, everyone within the soul group, their abilities will also amp up. So that means part of your family, maybe your best friend, your husband, are going to be experiencing the same thing that you are at the same time in that soul group. We may just be a couple weeks or a couple months apart. That's why I always feel like it's so important to say these things and get these things out there. I have been saying since I very first started making videos in 2018 that for most of my life I felt crazy and I kept it all inside me and wrapped up. And that the reason I decided to make videos, started to make videos 5 years ago, as I had spent the majority of my life feeling like I was crazy. And I figured out years ago that it was fine. I no longer had an issue with it, but there are so many other people experiencing this energy. And this energy, but some people have more, I don't know what the word is. More tapped in is not right, because you can be tapped in and you may not be able to discern, is not the right word. So we're all tapped into this energy of change, of expansion, of a shifting consciousness, of an awakening on this planet. People experience it at different times than other people. This brain rewiring is something that we are all totally experiencing right now. So your capacity to negate, your capacity to maneuver, your capacity to resonate, your um, capacity to discern exactly what it is in that energy and put that into words may be different than mine. When I speak to other people that are able to anchor the energy into the physical body and then spit it back out in some sort of verbiage, feel like it may be different from other people's stories. But what I've noticed from talking to people is, even if we don't use the same words or we didn't see it as the exact same vision, if you go and just look at the root message, that the message is always the same. And it may be brought to me in the form of a unicorn, because maybe that's something I resonate more. It could show up as a horse to you, or a ladybug, or a beetle, or even an ascended master, or someone's face in a cloud. But like I said, the energy itself will be read the same. And if you take away the particulars of how it happens, that's different between you and you simply look at what the message is, you'll then discover that the message is the same for everyone. And that's what I've noticed in talking to a couple of close friends recently. So the brain initiated or started out the inception point, lizard brain. I don't mind if I do. I'm trying to quit. Um, it's a very repetitive, very patterned, very looping, systemic way that the brain works. So our ascension process in the last couple years has been rewiring the way we think, the way we feel, the way we move, the way we breathe, the way we communicate with other beings on this planet, within the earth, and um, extraterrestrial as well. So everybody's brain is shifting and changing simultaneously. And the thing is, since the inception point was the reptilian brain, it was set up to, and not designed to work a certain way. It's designed, your brain, your body, your avatar is designed to be the most advanced technology on this entire planet and some of the most advanced technology within this universe. Now, the reptilian brain has been set at a certain capacity to keep you from experiencing that, but the ascension process is pulling that energy in and changing that brain reset, regardless of what they have done to set it as in the beginning. This brain reset right now is rechanging and recalibrating. Now, that can have you feeling like you're a little bit nuts. And I say that because during this recalibration, um, it feels like things are haywire or backwards or discombobulated, but really they're going back to the way the brain was intended to work. And that is the most advanced technology on this planet and also within this universe. Now, if you've already started going through this, and I know you have, you know what an extreme challenge this can be, right? So, one thing to give you an example, and you guys know I'm not tech savvy um, already because I talk about that a lot. And don't worry, my future partner will be, and then videos will get better, and this will be a little bit more brilliant than it currently is. But in the meantime, during this reset, we have the reptilian brain wanting to do things the old way. We have the ascension process begging, pleading, talking sweet to us, saying, this process is not about learning, it's about unlearning everything you've learned. And the education system itself was set up to work with the original set place of the reptilian brain. So, in other words, the indoctrinated education system is set up to work with the way that the brain was currently flipped to or currently switched to. The ascension process is undoing that. I probably have a lot less education than the majority of the people watching this. Um, so I don't usually have quite as much resistance to it. However, some of the things that have been happening in the last 6 months are just a total mind warp. Okay. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. Um, so, first of all, you guys know I'm not that tech savvy. I've been getting up at about 4 a.m. A couple of days ago, around 4 a.m., I got a text from PayPal saying that my account had been hacked and someone had ordered an iPhone, which is ironic because I hate iPhones and will never, ever, ever, ever buy an iPhone. But anyway, they said that someone had ordered a $740 iPhone, but I didn't have money in my PayPal account because even though I use PayPal to run a business, I transfer everything immediately to my bank. So I was very confused. And my intuition said when I had gotten a hold of this, when they had reached out to me, they had told me to download something so that so that I could file for a refund for the iPhone. So, like a complete and total idiot, you guys, I downloaded what this person told me to download. And I kept saying to this man, how do I know my account has actually been hacked? I don't have any proof that my account has been hacked. And I think that what you're doing right now is probably the hack and that there probably was no previous hack. But that was my intuition. But this guy was saying all the right things, and he put up on my computer screen, this is your account, this is all this stuff. And then he had complete control of my computer screen. So at that point, I knew I was in trouble for not listening to myself. He didn't get my bank information or anything. Luckily, I didn't let it get that far. But what I'm saying is things are working in the opposite, right? Your bank calls you, a lender calls you, someplace that you have established with calls you and tells you there's an issue. In 3D reality, that's viable. They're on the computer, they've got your bank records, they've got all this stuff. So in 3D, it's completely believable, but I knew it was wrong. I knew instantly it was wrong. And I let myself get like 10 or 12 minutes into it. This guy had total control over my computer. Luckily, I don't do anything on this computer um, that they could really get into or steal. However, what I'm saying to you is something that is approached in a 3D way from your bank, from your lender, from a lawyer, whatever. Um, Totally everything was in alignment in 3D. It totally looked like it should have. It was totally believable. And even though I kept telling myself, this, you were not scammed, this right now is the scam. So then I had to call my bank and uninstall everything that this guy had installed into my computer. I had no idea how to do that. Luckily, PNC Bank was, they were just amazing. They walked me through uninstalling the things he did and kicking this man out of my computer system. The point is that it's so easy to believe things that you can see, you can feel, you can hear, you can touch, and that doesn't mean that they're actually real. And like I said, my initial feeling was that I had not been scammed. The guy telling me I had been scammed was the actual scam. And that was the way it was. Now, that was just a couple of days ago. On the other side of the spectrum, since our brain is going back to its organic function, people within the soul group that you're connected to, soulmates, twin flames, soul family, whatever, however you want to look at that. I don't care what name you want to give it. That soul to soul, super deep connection that you have with a lot of people, and some people to a deeper, stronger, more intense degree than others, is also going back to its original state. So within these soul groups, these soul to soul connections, people you've had telepathy with in the past, that's obviously going to be increasing because both people are experiencing the brain reset at the same time. Almost, it looks and feels like it's simultaneous. And I have to give you an example to show you what I mean. There are so many weird things that I am really not that comfortable talking about for some reason. I'm always more comfortable talking about their macrocosmic view of what's going on than I am my personal life. But it's so important for you guys to know what is happening and what will be happening very soon to you. So telepathic connections, right? We've always had them. We've always had those abilities. Those are amped up. We have a brain reset that's happening for a soul group, twin flames, however you want to look at that soul to soul dynamic, that connection, that's super telepathic. So I'm going to dive in. I don't know any other way to do this. Okay. So say someone pops up in your mind and you're like, okay, I'm thinking about this person. And then 20 minutes later, I'm thinking about this person. And then 2 hours later, I'm thinking about this person. And then you're like, I'm obsessed with thinking about this person. What is going on with my brain? Okay. What's going on with my brain? Well, what's going on with your brain is a couple things. One thing is like, and I'm sure you've noticed it probably at this point in your life, but let's say your mom is thinking about calling you, and your phone rings in the other room and you're like, oh, I just know it's my mom. So we've always had that capability, but this is happening instant now. So I've thought about someone and thought about someone, then thought about someone, and I'm like, wow, I can't shut this off. What is going on? What's going on is that person thinks about you, you think about them. Okay. You do whatever you do in your brain or your heart or however you work. And you go back to it and you go back to it and you go back to it to where it feels completely obsessive. And this won't just happen with people. It's going to happen with changes you need to make in your life and jobs. But it's easier for me to use the people example. Okay. So it's like, then why can't I stop thinking about this? Okay. For one thing, with a soul to soul connection, let's say you're in a soul to soul connection. That person's having a really bad day. and they can't or they don't want to call you for whatever reason. They will literally sit down and think about you or look at your picture, whatever that person's mode of escapism is, right? I just want to cheer myself up or have a telepathic conversation, or maybe I just want to see your face, or maybe I just want to hear your voice, or whatever it is. We are becoming so strong in our power that here's what is happening. I could be sitting here in my dining room writing in my journal. Someone is thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice to see Tina's face? Or wouldn't it be nice to hear Tina's voice? Or wouldn't it be nice to sit at the dinner table with Tina? Okay. Whereas a couple years ago, or even a year ago, that meant it might have been a slight bleed through. Right now, it feels more real than the third dimensional reality. Okay. So what's happening here? Here I am in my avatar in Ohio, right? But I'm thinking about somebody in California, and I'm thinking about that person. I feel that connection to that person in California. What happens energetically in this brain reset? We are so powerful. If I'm thinking about that friend in California, my body will not, my avatar, my body, my vessel will not bilocate to California, okay? But my energy will. Now, if that's in that soul group and that soul to soul connection that's incredibly deep, that person's going to feel it. Okay, so let's say you're my friend Chris in Utah, and I'm sorry, you're my friend Chris in Idaho, and you're like thinking about calling me or whatever. I'm going to know that instantly. But it's amped up to the point where if someone is sitting in another state, even 2,000 miles, thinking, looking at my face, listening to my voice, or thinking, well, I'd really like to talk to Tina, or I'd really like to have dinner with Tina, your energy is showing up in my house. I can feel you. And this has been happening for me. It happened the first time it happened very strongly was when I was in the hospital, and I had asked you guys to pray for me. All of a sudden, I saw a bunch of faces from people on Facebook, from YouTube, that I've never met in person. They were in my hospital room. So even though the physical avatar right now may not be bilocating, I may not be thinking about my girlfriend in Colorado and showing up at her address, right? But my energy is there with her, and she'll call and say, oh, I can feel your energy, or I can feel you thinking about me, or I can feel you're happy, or whatever. So our body's not bilocating, but our energetic field is bilocating when we're thinking about someone. Now, the amount of energy that I'm going to feel from you is just depending on the amount of energy you're giving off. If you're having a fleeting thought, I haven't talked to Tina in a while, maybe I should give her a call. It may pop into my mind just for a second. If you are like maybe watching a video, or you're looking at my picture or something, and you're really connected in a soul way, in a heart-centered way, I feel you as strongly as if you are sitting across the dinner table from me. Now, I have actually seen a man sitting to my right side at my dinner table 3 or 4 times in my dining room. Now, I know that I'm not crazy. I know that that person is not really here. Um, but nevertheless, I felt the energy, and for a split second, I saw that man sitting at my dining room table. And this has been happening a lot. So we now have the ability, or if you don't, within the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, a very short time frame, this brain reset is changing the way you think. So we are the most advanced technology on this planet. If we know that, and if we use that capacity, we could bilocate with our physical body. But these things, these DNA activations that are turning on now with the brain reset, means any, if we don't stop ourselves, if we don't tell ourselves no, we will show up there. The energy has been so strong of a person showing up in my house that I have literally turned around and spoken to him out loud. So it's going to sound kind of crazy. Here's the other thing that's going on. I'm starting to see, and I know this can be very weird and very startling to people, so I hope it's not. And I've said this a couple of times. I never do this stuff on purpose. And 2 days ago, I was out taking my normal walk, and I was about a mile from my house. And all of a sudden, I saw my friend in another state, just the back of him, and sitting at his desk with the computer screen in front of him. And mostly what I saw was the back of his head and his computer screen. And when I saw his, and it just popped in my head instantly. There he is. He's at his desk. There's his computer. And I saw, and I don't do this on my computer. This is just for video. So I don't have any of these things. I saw the back of his head. I saw his computer. And then I saw a file with my name on it. And I was just like taken aback, not like in a creepy way, but in a very intense way. And I was like, wow, I just said out loud as I'm walking, wow, that's super, super intense. This person actually has a file on their computer with my name on it. That's intense. And as I continued to walk, within probably 10 seconds of seeing that on his computer and saying, wow, that's really intense. I can't believe you have a file on me. 10 seconds later, I had the same vision of me sitting at my desk, but I don't use the computer to the capacity that he does. I use the notebook instead of the computer. So I saw his file and I was like, wow, that's intense. 10 seconds later, I see myself sitting at my desk thinking, wow, this person has a file on me. And I saw me sitting at my desk doing my tarot cards, writing down my synchronicities, writing all my messages down, writing all this telepathic bleed through down. And I was like, oh my God, I have a file on this person. And it was so weird. It was instantaneous. So our ability to bilocate, our ability to telepathically communicate, even if we're not trying to, even I may not be sitting down here talking to Mary, I may just be thinking about Mary and her situation and like our conversation that we had earlier in the day, but she's going to feel it. People are going to feel it. So I was really taken back by the intensity of realizing this person had a file on their computer with my name on it, and then realizing that I also had a file on this person. It was just a different kind of file in the form of multiple notebooks, tarot readings, synchronicities, names, initials, life path patterns, numbers, all of that stuff. So this brain reset is cutting out the pause that would normally be there. Normally you would say, oh, I see a friend sitting at their computer. Well, that can't be possible. Okay. You may brush it off. You may brush it off or chalk it up to your imagination or whatever. But within the brain reset, the brain's not taking the time to do that. It's not taking the time to question what's coming in. It's just like, oh, wow, I see somebody's computer and they have a file on me. And then there's a big mirroring thing, right? These soul to soul connections are meant to trigger each other, assist each other, and help each other out of our stuck patterns, our bad habits, our bad life choices. That's what we're here to do, to catalyze each other through those things. The bad decisions we've made, new choices, creating a new life. We are in those soul to soul, twin flame, soulmate, divine partnership connections for that reason, to do that. So now that the brain is in the middle of a reset, it started, I don't know, a couple of days ago, or maybe I noticed it a couple of days ago, or maybe I'm noticing it a couple of days before it happens. I don't know. I'm telling you to the best of my knowledge. There's not that pause anymore. There's not me saying, oh, that person. So if I would have said, oh, that person doesn't look at me that way, that person doesn't really feel that way about me, they would surely tell me if they did, right? I'm not using the rational brain. I'm just like, wow, that person has a file on me. And then I was like, wow, I have a file on that person. And then I just started laughing. And then I said out loud to him, would you like to compare notes? So I wanted to give you that example that seems, I know, very outlandish. Um, but that is the way it's going. So the brain reset is an amplification of everything that you experience multidimensionally, but specifically where I'm noticing it the most is in connections to other people. Um, so I've had a lot of things like that happening. Like I said, normally my brain would stop and say, no, that if that person would express that if they felt that, or they probably don't, have a file on me. That's crazy. But because I didn't stop it, I immediately saw how I was mirroring them, right? So catalyst to change our direction, our life decisions, our patterns, our bad habits, our family belief systems, whatever it is. This is really strange because I've never experienced anything happening with this brain reset. It's almost like rapid fire, and this is really personal, but I'll give you another example. Um, so I had a conversation with someone on 11/11, and I haven't heard back from that person. And I was out walking 1,000,000 miles, as I always do. And I was thinking about that person in that last conversation, and I'll probably never hear from that person in physical reality ever again. Because I haven't heard from them since 11/11, I'll probably never hear from them again. And it immediately came back to me as an intense rush of energy. And then I heard, I'm not saying this person was speaking telepathically. I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know if I'm reading the future, but how it happened was I had said there was this intense conversation on 11/11. I haven't heard back from this person, and I'm probably not going to because that's been a while and it was pretty intense. And immediately the intensity came right back to me like a mirror. And that intensity answered in the exact same thing, but a totally different way, just like it did with this person has a file on me. Oh, wait, I have a file on that person. Do you want to compare notes? So this time when it came back to me, it was me saying, okay, we had this intense conversation. I'm probably not ever going to hear from this person again. And when I said that to him, what immediately came back to me is she's totally absent on social media. She's not making videos. She's not writing articles. She's not doing anything. She must have forgotten about me. She's probably just, out dating. So here I am, thinking this person's never going to contact me. They're just talking to 20 other people, right? They don't really care. And then right back it comes to me. She doesn't even have time to write. Doesn't have time to make videos. There must be something really fascinating. She must have met someone, something really awesome must be going on. So this is how this is working. And this is how this has always worked in the twin flame, divine partnership, soulmate, whatever label you want to throw on it. Okay. This is how it has always worked. But with the brain reset, there's no pause on it. Okay. So maybe in the past you would think about something and get bent out of shape and, push it under the rug or cry or just decide not to think about it, not to, feel into it anymore. I'm not experiencing any pause. So if someone thinks about me, I'm hearing it, I'm responding back. Even if I'm just in this case, I wasn't, again, wasn't, I will never ever try to have or open dialogue with someone telepathically who doesn't want to communicate with me in the third dimension unless they're in danger, unless I feel like there's some sort of danger. I don't do that. Happening is I'm hearing people's thoughts, but I'm hearing people's thoughts as if my phone rang and I'm on the phone with this person and they're telling us I'm hearing all their thoughts. And then I'm expressing it. And when I express something, it immediately comes back to me what they think about it or how they feel about it. So it's a total trip. And like I said, we've been experiencing this for a while, but because of the reptilian brain, there's a pause a postponement, or maybe you're like, okay, I'm, crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have smoked so much. Maybe I should, whatever. I'm just kidding. Um, yeah. So there's no pause on it's like this reset, this brain reset is overriding the monkey mind. Okay, that's what's happening right now. So, as where I would used to say, okay, I'm just going to take a pause. This is not something that's really happening. Now there is no pause, and it's making it more real to the point where my multidimensionality is more in focus and more real than my 3D reality. Now, I'm explaining to you this with the soul to soul connection because it's easier than trying to explain to you what I experience when I'm walking with the core of the earth or the trees or the birds or anything else, because that's even way more far out there. And I just thought it would be easier to explain how that works with a person. So, and I don't do this with everybody, and I don't do it all the time, and I never do it intentionally unless I feel like someone is in danger. Um, this is something that I've noticed with friends also, that they're picking this up. And so it's having an effect on our memory. Um, it's having an effect on everything within the brain. We may feel really backwards or really foggy or really discombobulated, like, wow, I must be absolutely losing it. Like the simplest of things at this point, I'm having to remind myself to do. Um, the more I attach and connect with to the unlimited potential of what I wish to create, the less I am connected to the third dimension. So these soul to soul connections amp up with every single change in the energy. Every portal that we experience, every numerical portal, whether you want to believe it's an energetic portal or not, doesn't make a difference to me what anybody believes. Um, it is a numerical trip switch for certain things to happen within the brain, within the body, and within the planet. Um, and everybody experiences this in their own time and in their own way and through their own different kind of, clairaudience, clairsentience, all of that. We don't all experience it in an identical way, but it is happening for everybody right now. And if you are lucky enough to be in connection to soulmates, twin flames, divine partnerships, this is something that is just amping up across the board, right? This doesn't have to be my twin or my soulmate. Someone reached out to me for a tarot card reading. I think it was like last week, and I saw his name on my phone. And when I saw his name, I already knew what he wanted. I already knew what he was going to say. I already knew that he was laughing in the message that he sent. Hello, Scott, if you're watching from Arizona. Yeah, so it's amping up. But the closer you are in a soul to soul connection with someone, the stronger that those abilities are going to be. And hopefully, everybody is at the point right now when they're realizing that people are not spying on them or being invasive or doing spells on them. Because I know initially when people experience this kind of connection, specifically the masculine energy has a tendency to feel paranoid, um, violated, spied on. Just violated, I think, is the perfect word. But it's just a connection. It's just the connection that's soul to soul being combined with the fact that everything is intensifying and amplifying. So whether you're talking to the trees or talking to someone telepathically in Colorado, it doesn't make a difference. It is all becoming incredibly, incredibly strong at this moment. The one thing that I will say about this, and I've noticed that a lot of people are very much struggling and very much feeling like they're losing their minds. And as you know, I've said from the beginning, the reason I started making these videos, I thought I was crazy most of my life and I hid away from everybody. I want other people to know that they are not crazy. That's what I've been saying in videos for 5 years. That's why I do this. And I finally realized yesterday it's time for me to change that pattern as well. I don't need to keep calling myself and my visions and my gifts crazy, nor do I need to be telling you that I'm giving you this information so that you don't feel crazy, because you're beautiful, you're inspired, you're a quantum being with unlimited potential. And we are, I guys, I'm not kidding. We are the most advanced technology on this planet and within this universe. We just have to know it and we have to believe it and we have to feel it. And once you get into that energy and you think about someone, your energy will bilocate to them. Your thoughts will travel to that person and they will sound like words coming through the telephone to you. So I'm not going to tell you anymore that I'm making videos so that you know you're not crazy. I'm going to say now I'm making videos because I want you to know that you're spectacular, you're quantum, you're inspiration, and you are the change and the awakening of this planet. And I think that's so much better of a way to put it. You know, in my infantile stage, I guess I didn't know a better way to state that. And now that I know better, I can do better. You are a quantum computer inside a beautiful body that can surf and sing and dance and make love. It's amazing. Don't ever forget who you really are. And when every time you think that can't be right or this can't be reality or whatever, just remind yourself that you are quantum and we are designed to do this. And this current brain reset is overriding not only what they did to the brain initially, but also a lot of the indoctrination that we have put ourselves through, whether that was, you know, family, education, whatever. We've been through a lot of indoctrination. And as I always say, this ascension process is not about, it's not about learning and studying and watching things and reading things. It's really should be called the great unlearning. It's about unlearning and deprogramming ourselves so that we can reset the brain to be the quantum mechanical apparatus that is the most brilliant technology, the most advanced technology in this universe. But you have to know it, you have to feel it, and you have to believe it. And you have to listen to your intuition. I've been talking about that for several weeks. Yet I still, when that man called me and told me my account is hacked, I still spent 15 minutes with him on the phone, listening to him and let him maneuver around my computer and everything else, because in 3D it was totally legit. And I knew instantly I shouldn't have done it. But it's hard because while things in the 3D seem totally legit and like they're on track and someone's really trying to assist you or help you, and they're not, they're the scam. I knew they were. There were these other things that are bleeding through, like your energy. You're looking at me, you're talking to me, maybe you watch a video and you think, oh, it would be nice to, you know, have dinner with this person or whatever. I'm feeling it, I'm hearing it. It's very, very, very intense. And I wanted you to know that you, in fact, are not only not crazy, you're quantum. And that is why you are now experiencing this. It's because you're quantum. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the unlimited potential that is you. And thank you for volunteering to be the most advanced technology in this universe. Thank you for volunteering right now to be quantum. I love you. Bye.